Yeah. Yeah.
I'd like to call this meeting of the village board to order, please. Start out with pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call, trustee Hodgshell. Trustee Clark.
Here.
Trustee Grant.
Here.
Attorney Schobert. Here. President Lysak. Clerk Ford.
Here.
Trustee Goodman.
Here.
Trustee Kahn.
Here.
Trustee Long. Move along to public comments. Public. Any public comments, please stand, state your name and address, and try and keep your comments to around 2 minutes or so.
2 minutes?
Around.
Around? I'll be brief.
Can you sign in?
I
You
did.
did.
Already done. I'm all right.
You're on
He
it.
knows
I
the
am
drill.
already ahead of you.
Thank you.
So, unfortunately, I got tied up and could not be here for the public hearing. I don't know how many people had showed up. My concern right now with the village budget is the defunding of the police department that is going on. The $50,000 that is coming out of wages, a reduction of 15.63%, is approximately 2,000 hours of patrol hours within the village of Big Bend. In light of everything that is going on throughout the county and everything else, I feel this reduction is unwarranted within the village. The amount of law enforcement that is around within backup and everything else in the surrounding communities and what we use in regards to the county just is not going to cut it for a community, for our community. Residents rely on their law enforcement. We do have incidents that do occur within the village. Give the chief credit in regards for what happens and how he handles everything within the community, but there are several instances that maybe you guys have not heard in regards to what goes on within the community. We all do, most people do live their sheltered lives. It doesn't hear everything that goes on day to day. Our drug overdoses within Waukesha County have been doubled over the past year. We're seeing an increase in drug trafficking within Waukesha County. We're getting more influx out of Milwaukee County and reducing the police number from 15%, I think is outlandish. Where all the other budgets have gone up, law enforcement is taking the biggest hit of all. And so that's my biggest gripe about this current budget. So thank you for your time.
Thank you. Any other public comments? Okay, if there's no other public comments, we'll move along. Item 3A, Fire Department monthly report. Good evening, Chief.
Good evening. Oops, Carol. So we had a rather busy month. We had 23 calls. We started with a major traffic accident on I-43 involving a box truck and a pickup. Pickup hit the box truck and started on fire. One person was transported to the hospital. We didn't have any incidents from county deer hunting season. On Sunday, November 21st, we responded and assisted the city of Waukesha with their mass casualty incident. We responded with engine 1163 to their station 1 downtown and responded to calls for service in the community that evening. Due to the severity of the event, we staffed our station all evening with personnel. We're keeping a close eye on the latest variant of COVID that has just popped up in the U.S. COVID positive cases are up in the area right now, and our PPE supply is still in good shape. Due to the uncertainty of the status of the Big Bend Fire Department and whether or not the village will be contracting with the village of Vernon for fire service, we canceled our jamboree. We wanted to give them enough time to get somebody else in that place. Until the board decides whether or not they're eliminating the fire department, we are going to pause on all fundraising events. We are still looking for individuals to join the fire department. Applications are available online and at Village Hall. And just like to wish everyone a Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, and a great and safe holiday season.
Thanks, Chief. Any questions? Thank you. Item 3B, library reports. Good evening, Carla.
Happy Thanksgiving, everyone. We had a busy month also. We had a return of our foot traffic, more people came to visit us. And we hosted our regular programs, plus we had a Thanksgiving dinner that we put on with our book and our movie clubs, and we had 23 people. And thank you to the fire department for letting us meet back there. That was great. I mean, they had a feast better than my house was on Thanksgiving, and they really enjoyed it. These older folks told me later that they would like to repeat this a couple times a year. A woman gave a donation of $100 after that towards future programs, Emily's Slip Car. And then yesterday I got a check from Citizens Bank for $146. They have a match plan every month. Their employees donate money, and I just sent them a thank you and called them and talked to them. We had a Medicare representative come from Waukesha County, and I have plenty of resources if anyone knows of someone that needs some phone numbers to call. I was really insistent on seniors needing phone numbers and not necessarily a website address. Also, our Waukesha County group is it's a group of library director, library system, and Waukesha County accountants that work on the tax formulas, not what the village votes on, but what we get as part of our share of the pot, so to speak, from libraries that are in communities that don't actually have a library, like Vernon, town of Quantico, town of North Lake. Anyway, they are pretty sure they have their minimum standards together. They're going to vote on it in January. The only effect that will have on us here at our library is that I might have to budget $500 more next year towards purchasing new materials. And they're also going to try to consider getting electronic material usage as part of the funding formula. Also, I have to thank DPW Chuck and Jeff Goodman came in to stabilize a really large bookshelf we had that was a little nervous. It was wobbling back and forth. It was not safe. It is very safe now, and if any of you want to go in and try it, you're welcome to wait around. But they also they saved us a lot of money. I had a quote that was pretty high, and that was just to brace it. So I'm grateful to them. Have a safe holiday, everyone, and if you are considering coming to the Christmas dinner, Elena, Laura, and I are putting that together, please RSVP. Thank you.
Thanks, Carla. Item 3C, Police Department monthly report.
You have the reports in your hand. Good evening.
Good evening, Chief.
One criminal damage, 4 drug-related, 4 adult arrests, 80 traffic stops with 7 citations, 4 non-traffic citations, 187 calls for service, 22 business checks at patrols, traffic accidents, 4 EMS calls that responded with the fire department, 7. Next 2 pages there, you can read through it as I talk. If you have any questions, let me know. 9 hours and 25 minutes of assisting other agencies. All of those are assisting Waukesha Sheriff's Department. Big Bend Municipal Court numbers, 50 initial appearances for Big Bend Court, 28 for Village of Waukesha, excuse me. The state debt collection numbers are at the bottom there. We got a notice today from victim witness. Since you're here, that's for you. The last kid, or the third, the adult that is responsible for the $100,000 of vandalism in the village finally pled guilty. The sentencing is December 22nd, I believe it is. It was December 3rd. So that case is finally wrapping up. So I got questions, comments, concerns.
No, thank you for getting the information out on the tornado sector too.
Third one, that's the one that was white, you took white originally?
The third one was the adult.
Okay.
The two adult were taken care of a long time ago. So, thank you.
Thanks, Chief. 3D, President's Report. No report tonight. 3E, Public Works Department. Report. Good evening, Chuck.
Began marking the open areas in the cemetery. That just aid us finding graves when we are open areas for when the snow flies. Let's see, library repaired the door counter for the entrance to the library. Also installed a shelf support in one of the bookcases. For the truck 6, the patrol truck, we replaced the 12-volt batteries, a backup alarm, and a salt light. And we got it ready somewhat for snow plowing. We put the wing on. The plow won't take much to attach it. We did a numerous lowering and raising of the American flag by government orders. The debris from the fall brush pickup, we're waiting for City of Waukesha to come in with our grinder. They're talking the second week of this month. We did all the cutting and trimming of the village property and state property. Leaf bin, we've been emptying out as needed. It's officially closed as of now, but we will accept leaves through the weekend. I assisted Ted Powell from Collier Consulting for the resistivity testing to locate possible water sites along the I-43 corridor. Took the scrap metal in that was collected during the dumpster Saturdays to Waukesha Iron. Working on the items for the Wisconsin surplus. They have a worksheet that I'm working on. We spent 2 weeks, 3 machines, and approximately 20,000 pounds of crack sealing material. We've got all the streets that we crack sealed attached. We also had to go pick up 2 more pallets of the material. And we'd like to thank Wayne Blowett, Larry Long, Larry Obrinsky, and Steve Lysaki for driving for us while we were doing the crack sealing. We picked up some school zone signs from Lang Enterprises in Oconomowoc. That's going to be installed on Edgewood Avenue. We've marked the areas already. I've noticed that they're all set to go, but we have to wait for Monday to actually install them. Covered 4 areas in the park for topsoil and seeding. Hopefully they'll start, well, they might have some grass growing them now. And there'll be more areas in the spring. The HVAC unit was replaced on the PD yesterday. I'm assuming it's all working good?
It's toasty warm in the back.
Okay. Any questions? Okay.
Thank you, Chuck.
Thanks, Chuck.
Item 3F, report from professional services. Anything?
Ours will just be covered during the agenda.
Okay, thanks. Item 4, consideration and approval of the minutes from the November 4th village board meeting.
Motion to discuss. Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
Looks like Joe's name, she already got it, right? What else did I see? You can write off more if you got it. No, that was the only thing I had.
Motion to approve with the name correction.
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item 5, approval of bills. Discussion, consideration, and approval of bills from November 15th, 2021 in the amount of $44,628.85, and from December 2nd, 2021 in the amount of $96,219.49.
What was the first one?
First one was 44628.85.
Make a motion to approve bills in those amounts.
Second that motion.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item 6A, discussion, consideration, and possible action on the emergency management plan for the Village of Big Bend. Any update on that, Tony?
No updates since last.
I'm just keeping it on there to keep following up with you.
Sounds good.
Thanks. Item 6B, discussion, consideration, and possible action regarding Cajun Fill site in general. I don't think there's anything we can do at this point. We're waiting for the DNR to close out their NOI, right? And they have not done so yet?
I sent them photos of the site, and they were going to determine whether they needed to make a personal inspection or just okay it based on the photos, but I haven't heard back from them.
Okay. Did Will get a hold of you?
No.
He's gonna be calling you because he has to continue to do inspections until that notice of termination is in effect.
Okay.
To keep both of us on board, so we don't get in trouble with the DNR either. So he's
Okay.
gonna call you and set up a inspection date.
Okay.
Other than that, there's no action there. Anybody have any questions? Okay, moving along. Item 7, new business. A, consideration and approval of the following operator's license application, Papa Stash, Janelle Bernier. Chief?
There's a couple of things from 2018 that, but she hasn't had nothing since in the record, so I recommend approval.
I'll make a motion to approve the operator's license for Janelle at Office.
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item 7B, discussion, consideration, possible action on the 2019 audit report. I don't know that there's any action needed. Just want to make sure that you guys had the print copies now, and to see if anybody had any questions or discussions on it.
I would have requested you to approve specifically.
I know we all kind of had time to go through this during the public hearing too. Any questions? We will move along. I will have Paul come in from Baker Tilly after his first of the year to do a quick rundown on it. Item 7C, discussion, consideration, and possible action to approve Resolution 2021-05, a resolution to approve the 2022 budget. There we go.
You're not legally required.
Okay.
But it's
Resolution 2021 is a resolution adopting the 2022 budget and authorizing the 2021 general property tax levy against all taxable property in the Village of Big Bend.
Make a motion to approve resolution 2021-05.
I'll second it. Motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
I don't think a roll call is required. It might not be a bad idea, just for the record.
Sure, we can do that.
I-
Well, it was unanimous.
Well, if you want to reflect that it was unanimous, then, you know, if there's no objection, then,
No objections, no abstains.
yeah, I think that's what I don't think there's a super majority required, so.
Item 7D, discussion, consideration, and possible action to approve resolution 2021-06, a resolution to approve salaries and wages of village staff in 2022. You have the sheet in front of you. There's one wage that'll probably fluctuate, that'll be police clerk, court clerk, with Gail announcing her retirement coming up in January. You know, we gotta hire somebody and we don't know what we're gonna pay him exactly yet, so she's gonna handle the police clerk end, and Judge Dana's gonna handle the court clerk end.
I don't think the police chiefs is correct either. That's not it was not an agreed upon work agreement.
That was the higher of the two.
He didn't agree to that, so he's working off his old agreement, correct?
That's coming up later on the agenda, but
What would be on the wages though?
So I think what Jeff is trying to ask is we don't have an agreed upon wage.
right.
How do you pass that number? Because that's not what we're currently paying him. It could be less, it could be more.
Can we table this resolution until later in the meeting?
Or can you pass it pending,
Contingent, yeah.
contingent upon contract?
Working agreement.
Right.
We table this until later in the meeting.
You certainly could put it on the table, you could approve without approving one line and then just, in effect, taking that up whenever you want to, but if it's possible it would be acted upon tonight, then I think tabling it for the time being certainly
Just
just
defer
allow
it
it.
to the end.
Sure. All right.
To the end.
Item 7E, discussion, consideration, and possible action to approve resolution 2021-07, a resolution to approve appointment of election officials. And in your packet, you have the resolution appointing election inspectors for 2022 and 2023. Brady Schmadel, Judy Dorava, Shirley Stadler, Carol Mengel, and then you have your Democratic and Republican Party appointments that were requested: Leonard Lambert, Sally Gorman, Chris Kramer Nesbitt, Brenda Burton, Steve Miller, and Ron Young.
Motion to approve.
I'll second that motion.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? Unanimous. Item 7F, discussion, consideration, and possible action on Baker Tilly engagement letter for audit services. Again, in your packet, you have the proposal from Baker Tilly to basically perform our audits for the next 5 years. The costs go up slightly each year. I believe it's $1,250 each year.
since they're already doing our audits, it would benefit us to stay with them to get us caught up and through it. So I make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
Motion and a second. Any further discussion?
Have we ever bounced this up against other due diligence as far as other firms or
I
services?
have not. We were under contract with them.
Well, before, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's a name I've always heard, but I was just curious.
They do quite a few of the surrounding communities too, and they seem to do a good job in their reputable. So we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item 7G, review, discussion, and possible action to amend developer's agreement as to paving specifications and schedule for paving at the Douglas Court development located at Douglas Court. The village staff initiated this request owing to the condition of the required public improvements completed to date by the developer. Property is zoned R2 residential district. The planning commission recommended to the village board was to mill off all of the asphalt, to do testing and evaluate the road base content / condition, repair road base if and as needed, and then asphalt according to the terms of the existing developer's agreement. We had a staff meeting out there a few weeks ago on Friday, met with all the residents, we met with engineering staff and some of us from the village board, and the general consensus was to stay with what Payne and Dolan recommended. You have an attachment in here from before. Mike Timmers wrote out kind of the minutes of what we discussed there and the 4 or 5 options that there are. And the residents all seem to believe that they will have the best road with solution number 1, which is Payne and Dolan's gonna go in and mill slightly by each driveway to blend. They're gonna use a 9.5 millimeter mix, which is much finer and smoother. And they're gonna end up with a 1.5 additional inches of asphalt on top of the existing, which this will act kind of as the final lift then.
Is this what the developer and Payne and Dolan agreed to? And this is Payne and Dolan's,
This was Payne and Dolan's recommendation for us, the solution, I believe. Is that correct?
My understanding.
Yeah, I mean, from what I saw come from them.
this is what they're gonna do to rectify the situation?
Right, that's what I was told, yeah.
Based on the discussion at the site, there would be no disruption of the current concrete driveways
Correct.
of all the residents.
Yeah, I mean, the biggest issue with this recommendation was the fact that at the spots of the driveways, you wouldn't see 4 inches of material.
Right.
Right, so
Yeah, so we'd have
that's
to
the trade-off.
do a special to accept that 3.5 at the very end of the driveway.
And we generally discuss it within a 2-foot
Right.
radius from the end of the driveway, that was discussed.
Yeah, they'd be up to full depth within.
Yeah, pretty quickly.
I think that this is a great mutual agreed upon solution, and I make a motion to pass it.
I'll second that.
Any further discussion?
The only question I got is, did we receive any further feedback from the residents?
We did not. They all kind of nodded their heads when we were out there. I mean,
They had quite a few different topics thrown out that day, and
right.
while the snow was flying, it was so nice out, so.
And I think 4 to 5 residents
Yeah,
were
almost
present.
every house was represented, so.
Right.
I think everybody was pretty comfortable with it. Obviously, their biggest concern was the impact of their existing driveways, so.
Yeah, I agree
Michelle,
with
to
that.
clarify, you want option 1, what Warren read off, right?
Correct.
Okay, just checking.
Well, they need to sign off on this too, so they don't come back against us or the developer or anything like that, and then come back to us where we have to approve it
No, this is
and
between
accept
the,
it.
the
Yeah, it's
developer, his contractor, and then the village finally accepting it.
Okay, so we really don't do any action on it?
Yeah, we've got
Yeah,
to,
approve it.
We just
We have
approved
to
their
approve it, but we don't
remediation.
accept the road
we haven't accepted the road
until
is
the road is
finished yet.
done.
Okay, I thought we were telling them it was between the developer and Painado and then this, and then we'd make them, we would take and accept it after it's done.
We will,
Yeah.
yeah, if it's,
We're just saying this is acceptable to us, basically?
this solution would be acceptable to us,
Yep.
correct?
If they do what they're implying they're gonna do, then.
Plus
we'll
the other
accept
items
road.
that are still on the checklist in spring, you know, a little bit of ditch work and some shoulder or
Shoulder
something,
work.
yeah, I mean,
Okay. Just wanted to be clear on
Yeah,
all
that-
that, yeah. Okay.
motion and a second, okay, any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Abstain.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item 8, closed session, we're gonna combine A and B. Go into closed session as per Wisconsin statutes 19.85, sub 1E, deliberating or negotiating the purchase of public properties, the investing public funds, or conducting other specified public business whenever competitive or bargaining reasons require a closed session, specifically to discuss combined shared services. And 8B, go into closed session for Wisconsin statutes 19.85, sub 1BE, considering employment, promotion, compensation, or performance evaluation data of any public employee over which the governing body has jurisdiction or exercises responsibility in negotiating the purchasing of public properties, the investing of public funds, or conducting other specified public business whenever competitive or bargaining reasons require closed session, specifically working agreement for the police chief. Any motion?
Motion to go into close.
I second that.
And a roll call vote. Trustee Hudson.
Aye.
Trustee Clark.
Aye.
Trustee Reiner. President Lysick, aye. Trustee Goodman.
Aye.
Trustee Con.
Aye.
Trustee Lyon.
Right?
Thanks. Thank you, Chuck. Yeah, for a minute and then we'll get you right away.
That can break. Or if you lock me out, I don't.
Yeah.
Active
I didn't get the.
So the barbecue.